Hello, this is a record for the fourth week, maybe fifth week of April. And then this week, I'll be covering, well, the pairs. There's been quite a development the past week or so, and so I want to kind of go through it and then plan our next move. But beforehand, let's move on to the fundamentals. So for this week, the key interest will be in, if I could just quickly find it. For me, it'll be personal spending that I think will play a huge role. We also do have earnings report, and in Asia, Japan is also going to be the Bank of Japan. It's going to have its to make decision for the first time by the new governor. So these will all play a big role for this coming week. For the currency indexed, starting from the DXY, we've seen closure below this previous structure low, right? And we also closed this previous week below. However, it was bullish. And you could say that this is acting as a support at 101.5. This may be the case, and so we might still see some wiggle before USD goes down or up. Very dependent on the Fed policy as well. I mean, not sure where they're going with that, but potentially the next cycle could be the last. Okay. As for the USD, using this one, the USD index, you can see that we have been hovering more or less on 23 for the past week or so. That's 5 days. And if you look at the weekly, right now the likelihood of it going up is very high, and so what I expect is we're going to see some sort of strengthening of the US dollar. So we could see gold fall, and that would coincide with this entry right here, right? So that's what I'm looking personally right now. Okay, so back to the dollar. So that's the short term that I'm looking at for the week ahead. For the GBP, we have seen that GBP is still trading at the same level. It has not made anything, made no progressions. We did have a small pullback, so this might be the one last push before trading higher. And for JPY, we are seeing rejection, and with the Bank of Japan, potentially, if they do, end their loose monetary policy, then there's a very high likelihood that we're going to see this push up. With this pushing up, we're going to see downside to the JPY. So downside to the JPY, all of this is going to be into play, right? So that's that. You might ask, okay, how do I draw my fib? How do I draw these things? It's just basic fib from the key structure to the key low. And I'm just trying to add as much standard deviation using the key level or the wicks. So that's how I do it. Euro, we have seen continuation of the strengthening. NZD weaken and AUD weaken. Both of these, NZD and AUD, are technically a more volatile pair, when there are risk environment, they tend to fall. So now let's start off with gold. The past week we have seen gold basically trade higher. Tapping into 1971 and then trade higher, and then failed to sustain the high, and ended up trading below 23.6. What this could mean is we have now broken the structure, and if we look at the weekly, this is the first week to hit red again after 2 weeks. And if you can include this, it has been a strong bull run, ever since February, end of Feb. So what we could see is a stronger pullback to the downside before we either decide to go up or lower. So currently, certainly interested in this level. If I just quickly draw this again, chart the fib, 1958 looks really promising. So I'm gonna look to trade that, more or less. As for silver, same thing. I might actually want to so for silver, nothing fancy, just simple fib. And it looks relatively good, especially for 50. We could see this probably gonna come here by the time silver goes down, assuming that it mirrors this move up. However, it is unlikely, and most we're probably gonna see is a retracement back down to this level, in which I'm not interested to take as of yet. Actually, take it back. Let me actually think about this one. There's actually a high possibility that this might be the structure, the fib. It's gonna work out. Okay. So these are basically all this area of interest that I have. All this, all that. Alongside with, you could see, this was this trade. The trade here that I am in currently was mostly also based on the confluence it had on gold, GBP as well. Now, if we do see some sort of correlation to the downside, and it's not based on the price movement of the dollar, then we could assume that this is, going to be the value of gold that is going down, and not the dollar increasing or decreasing. Okay. GJ, we have seen GJ now broken out of this trend line. It's broken. High likelihood we're gonna start retesting 165 again. 165.6 again on Monday or Tuesday. If we do sustain, then I do believe that we're gonna probably trade higher to this area before we do decide to drop down. Right now I'm favoring strengthening of the JPY. So most of my bias is to the downside on any JPY pair. Okay. As far as USDJPY, I have not changed anything the past week. It is as it is. Currently just interested in the closest ranges, 132.39. This looks like a very safe buy. This one, this 131.7 looks like a very, very safe buy. This, more likely than not, is probably going to work out. Okay. Very interested in this one. And this one at 132.39 is going to be dependent on how fast it can come down here, because I do want to take it alongside the trend line. Okay, so we'll see about that. For equity, we're also seeing right now a convergence of 100 EMA and 200 EMA. This could be very interesting for the coming week. With the earning reports, could potentially see that happening. So I'm going to keep an eye on that. Earning reports going to be interesting. And this is going to be the same for US Tech. Especially if you look at the fact that there's Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Alphabet. All these tech companies will largely affect US Tech. So, I'm going to be very, very diligent about it. GN, we saw a strong push throughout the week. Every day was bullish, and now we've closed in above the structure at 2.015. Okay, the closest place that I can go now is either retracing back down 100 pip before making a move up. If we do, however, the best case scenario to take a short is if we replicate this kind of movement to the upside, then I'm looking to take a short at this second yellow line, this first yellow line, or the second one, which basically replicate, it taps this bundles of wick, and I believe it to be a strong key level. So certainly looking forward to it. And with that in mind, I'll probably put a pending afterwards. This is going to be a confluence as well for GBPNZD. If we do meet this to the downside, that'll be awesome. ENEA, I don't really trade. I'm just using it for confluence so far. Nothing much apart from the fact that this has been broken. This is a channel between this two line. So far that's that. Nothing much going on. The interesting key level would be this one, which is still 300 pip away. It's not going to reach there anytime soon. Assuming that we do retrace down to 38.2 is very interesting as well. For the NZD. So that's that, But I'd rather put my bet on the 50. Simply because it has this level as a support as well. Right, that's basically it. My key interest, I think, this week is going to be on gold, silver. We're likely to see some movement on JPY with the Bank of Japan coming on, I think, Thursday or Friday. Probably Friday. Friday. So that's that. Yeah. Looks to be a great week.